All right, today I'm gonna be ranking uh all of the 7-star units that are currently out in All-Star Tower Defense. I'm gonna be looking at the wiki and just going through every single character. So this is gonna be a long video, and I'm just gonna go rank all of them, especially since we just added like 3 new ones. And I'm just gonna look through all of them and then rank them on how I think it is. There's not gonna be a lot of S. S is like above meta, I guess you'd say. A is like high meta or just meta. B, I would say like high B is like meta, and C other stuff. We'll figure it out as we go. So first character we're gonna look at is Eren. Last is the last what is it called, battle, I guess whatever you call it, like the battle pass or star pass unit that they had. We're look at them at full 175 and buff, because most of the time you're not going to use a 7-star without a buff. So we're gonna look through everything. So placement is 550, which is really good. 24,000 with the buff. Range 72, good range, good SPA, everything. And then upgrade 1 is 1,450, 85,000 damage with buff. That's the range, everything basically is the same. New attack for upgrade 2, 2,500. And then it goes down, and then we're gonna look at here, end of raid mode right here. This is what you get for raid mode. You don't have any abilities, nothing like that in raid mode, but you have the buff wear off. This is buff right here. Here we go. So about 2.6 million, 400,000 DPS, 6.4 SPA, 132 range. This doesn't look good itself, even though the range looks really good. What makes it good is the hybrid and that it is a full AoE here. Night Change has a full AoE. So I would say in raid mode he is fairly viable. Not the best unit there is, definitely not, but it's very viable. And then upgrade 6 is usually get in infinite mode and other stuff like similar with a lot of money. 26 million damage, 132 SPA range. I mean SPA, 6.4 SPA. DPS is 4 million. And you get the new ability, the Final March. And yep, he gets a lot better with this, but then he gets this ability here. Final March is ability that requires the founder to be placed anywhere on the map. I will dock points for this just because he cannot do this without having Ymir on the field, which kind of sucks, but oh well. And then regardless who placed it, which makes it a little bit better, but not much better. And then once activated, our short cutscene referencing the Attack on Titan anime will play out. During the rumbling, a lot of wall titans and Eren's founding titan will spawn at the base and slowly march across the map. The titans release a fog of damage that travel across the map as well, and all enemies inside that fog will be dealt 60% of Eren's current damage for 3 ticks per second. So like 60% of this would be what? 18 million, 16 million, something like that. So like that, 3 ticks per second, which he does like 60 million a second then, or like I would say like 50 million more than anything, but like around there a second with the buff. And the rumbling has a different duration on every map, ranging from 50 to 80 seconds. It has a 500-second cooldown. Only one march can be activated at a time. This ability does not have Google count and turns the game mode to one times for the duration. I'm gonna do the math real quick. And if he is going, 3 ticks per second, we're gonna go lowest here. We're not gonna go highest. We're gonna go lowest here for 50 seconds. If any other character has something similar where it's a range, I'll go for the lowest range. 50, so 150 ticks then overall. And depending on how much damage he's doing, which is 60% of 26, 164, 530. So it's about 15 million. And then you times that by 150. It does about 2 billion damage overall, which isn't amazing for any type of nuke, really. There's tons of better nukes in the game, stuff like that. I can't recommend using him over some other people that you could use. So I'm going to put him in B tier. Oh, and before we move on, I'm gonna just right away just put these two in not out because they are in the game and are obtainable, but they are not playable and they're not out yet at the time of recording this. So then we're gonna go to the next unit, which is Boros. Let's go check him out. Alien Boss Boros, 175 with plus. There you go. There you go. Okay. Placement is 50,000, which is a lot for 375,000 damage and 60 range, 7 SPA. So he is definitely not a good unit on placement. Definitely not something you really want. And then upgrade 1 is 1900. Just 55, 556,000, 60 range, 7 SPA, 79,000 DPS, which is not good. Grade 2, 8,800, 99,000. Range goes up a lot. 7 SPA, DPS is 128,000, which is still an alien flare beam. That changes to AoE clone. And then let's just go all the way down and check out raid stats right here. Upgrade 7. Upgrade 7 is 200,000, 59 million damage, 96 range, 9 SPA, UPS of 6 million damage. This is with the buff. It's AoE circle there. So it's a pretty good EPS for Raze, it looks like. But it has nothing else special about him. No good, no viable, no viable, like, abilities, I guess you'd say. They're going to change the game for you. So he's just a pure DPS unit in raid mode. So I would, so far, there's other characters I would bring instead of him 100%, especially because he is fairly expensive to get to here. And then we're going to just look at the infinite stats. So damage, 554 million, 120 range, hell, that's PA, 46 million DPS. Roaring Star Cannon, AoE circle becomes larger. Alright, he doesn't have any abilities, nothing like that. He's just a DPS unit that is actually fairly good for 46 million damage per second. So I would might even put him above Eren, but I don't see him going into A right now. Maybe it'll change as I see more characters, but I do not see him going into A. So maybe like a high B, I would say, like here. I would say just because he does do more DPS overall than Eren, and his raid mode stats are a lot better than Eren's, even though he is not a full AoE. And he doesn't have that restriction on his, like Eren does. But yeah, and then this dude right here, Kurama. Let's go check out Kurama. I can already tell you already, he's not gonna be good. He is a pure DPS, which isn't. He's not a bad DPS either. On placement, 1,000, 50,000. So let's just look at raid mode stats here. Oh, it's hard to say raid mode because it's two people combined, or 2 units combined. So, but let's look at this: 41 million damage, 36 range, 6 PA, 6 million DPS. Definitely not something you want, especially because it takes 2 units to make them, and those 2 units themselves are not the best. Spoiler alert, I guess. And then let's go look at this full ability of upgrade. As it's just an infinite. It's a 17 million to get him here. 125 million damage, 36 range, 6 SPA, and 20 million damage. He costs, this upgrade is way too expensive. The DPS isn't the worst in the game, but for a 7-star, it is not something you look forward to, especially since he's not a support 7-star either. He is basically a pure damage. takes up 2 unit slots. He just sucks. He's not a good unit. Do not recommend him to ever use him. I think he is unobtainable now because he was a combination of 2 Star Pass units. So I might put him in E just because he does have some damage that he can do. Literally like nothing else to him. I might move him up 1 to D, but definitely not. He's definitely not someone you want to use. All right, next, Boo. Let's go look at Boo. Boo. All right. Placement's 15,000. Not the best. With 284,000 damage, 48 range, 5 SPA, 56,000 DPS. On placement, he's very Just better for 15,000, dollars. You can get a lot better units with a lot more damage. All right, we're just gonna skip all this. Look at the raid stats. Which is 2.9 million, 108 range, 8 SPA, 372,000 DPS. Sucks. This is bad. This is very bad. Not worth it at all as a unit slot. Can be 10 times better. There's better units out there. Do not recommend them, at least for raids. Before we look at the others for the infinite stats, I guess you'd say. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. Actually, I might have messed something. This will help him. He gets Candy Beam right here. Candy Beam, which is one of his abilities here. Candy Beam, first upgrade. Here we go. Candy Beam, upon activation, Boo time stops all enemies in range for 6.5 seconds with a 45-second cooldown. Okay, interesting. So he gets that at here, basically first upgrade. So for $20,000, you do get a time stop, which is actually pretty good. That'll bump it up a little bit, but it doesn't make him amazing because there are good time stops in the game. I don't know if he's a unique. Hold on, is he unique? You only place one of them. Okay. Moving on to his infinite stats now. We're gonna look at here. So if he has 19 million damage, 120 range, 11 SPA, damage not very good, but we don't use him for damage. That's not something you would use him for. Then he gets rid of his time stop and goes with sleep. Sleep places Candy Beam on upgrade 6 when activated. Ooh, kid action 5 billion HP to the base. This ability shares an infinite global cooldown with Patch Face transfigured passive transfiguration ability. So it's just a base healer, and it does 5 billion, which is pretty good. I'd say it's probably like 3rd best in the game now, behind what's it called, Speedaholic and Patch Face. I want to say I could be wrong, but correct me on that. And yeah, so he goes to base healing. I don't know if I prefer the base. I would definitely do not prefer the base healing unless you're using it for certain abilities over time stop. So I don't know. It's not my favorite thing because it does get replaces. It says replaces right here. It doesn't. It's just not enough. It's not another ability he gets. So I think that bumps him down a bit. So he's not a DPS, and at max, he's not very good support in my opinion. Even though he does have a lot of base HP, there's other units that are better than him by a long shot. So I'm actually gonna put him at a. He's a time stop though for raids, so I might put him C or D. Put him C for right now because the time stop. But I don't know about anything else. All right, next unit is Broly. 175 with the buff. On placement, 4,000. It's basically 500,000 damage, 42 range, 7 SPA, 69,000 DPS, which is on placement is actually really good. Upgrade 1. Let's go look at his raid stats, which is here. This should be his raid stats, which is 41 million damage, 72 range, 7 SPA, and 5 million DPS, which, hold on, is there a way to see his damage with rage? Because he has rage. Okay, I don't know what his rage is at here, but I don't know if he has rage here actually. But let's just say this is his. I'm not going to consider rage into this part, but I will in infinite. So yeah, this 41 million, 72 range, 7 SPA, 5.8 million DPS, which isn't bad for a raid. There are better, yeah, there are better DPS units for raids. He is still a viable DPS option though. Then we're gonna go look at his last upgrade, which is 18 million, which without rage is 358 million, 138 range, good range, 16 SPA. Do not like that SPA, very bad. 22 million DPS. He gets a legendary transformation. An attack type changes to AoE full, so it's a full AoE. Attacks cannot hit, so he's just hybrid. And then now he gets rage, and he gains an additional 3 million damage for 11 waves. And then with rage here, it says this is what he is at max rage: 476 million, 138 range, 16 SPA. EPS is 29 million. I don't know. This is not very good. 29 million SPA even with the rage. Even with the rage, it's not very good. So, I would can't put him very high. He doesn't have any really special abilities. He's not a support in any way. He's a pure DPS, but even as a DPS, there's just tons of units that are way better than him. So I'm actually going to put him at C. Maybe D. No, I'll put him at C for right now. Put him at C. I cannot put him above Kid Buu either because Kid Buu is more usable in that I think he has a time stop, which I think is more usable than someone who does okay damage, in my opinion. And then next 7-star, we're taking out Ryuk. Let's go check him out. Full stats. 1.3 million deployment already. Not the best, but here we go. Tower ground full AoE. 22 million damage. 72 range. They SP at 500, which is not good at all. But 44,000 DPS. No, heck no. Not worth it at all. Especially here, which it costs 2.6 million fully to upgrade them, and you're only getting 88,000 DPS. It's a full AoE, but no. And the range isn't bad here, but no, it's not worth the money at all. Pretty bad. And let's look at his ability. Death's ability, right names, needs to be manually activated. Upon activation, it deals damage equal to his damage stat to all enemies within his range. Cooldown of 500 seconds, 5 minutes. So he just does another attack with that. So he basically attacks 2 times in 500 seconds, it looks like. He sucks. He's just bad. Never use Ryuk. I don't know where you would use him at, because there's just thousands and thousands. There's probably some 5-stars that are probably better than Ryuk using him in an infinite and raid. So you can't even use him in raid because how expensive he is. So immediately I'm putting Ryuk. Nothing special about him. He has an ability, but that ability does nothing. So then we're gonna check out our next unit. Diavolo from JoJo. Alright, we're taking a quick look at his raid stats. I guess this could be his raid stats here. I don't know if these two could be, but I'm gonna just say upgrade 5 is. Does he gain anything from the gaining abilities? Nope. Alright, here we go. Upgrade 5. He does 3,700,000 damage plus another 3,700,000 bleed. 72 range, 5 SPA, and a terrible DPS of 752,000 for as much money as he costs. That sucks. And then we're just gonna look at his infinite stats now. So he does 9.7 million damage with another 9.7 million damage of bleed, 126 range, 5 SPA, and special ability raised, which he gains on this upgrade. Does it say what his attack is? Like a circle AoE? I don't think so. Well, we don't know. Well then, okay. Then we're gonna look at his ability erased. When activated, a cutscene shows a glitchy pink flashes 3 times across the screen, followed by a red and black explosion. And every enemy in the map gets teleported back 3 paths. Time stop for 30 seconds and health cut to 65% for their max HP. This ability has a 750 second global cooldown. This is a really, I'll say this is a pretty good ability right here, because cuts them to 65% HP, really good. Takes off just a solid 35% of their HP, and then time stops them, and then teleports them back 3 paths. Even though it doesn't have the best cooldown, with 3 times, it won't seem as much as this. I will say that he is pretty terrible DPS. I'll just say that right there. Only 1.9 million DPS, but his ability is what makes up for it here. I am actually gonna put him probably at C. Wow, maybe B. I do like his ability a lot. I'll put him at top of the C for right now, just cause I think just because of his ability that gets him here. It's a really good ability. You know, I do not like the cooldown that much of it of 750. It is still a cool ability. Now we're gonna check out one of the new units. Let's go check out one of the new units. Here we go, Evil Shade Final. All right, placement 400, very cheap. 104,000, really good. 84 range, 4 SPA, 26,000. All right, let's look at his. Yeah, here we go. 250,000 is his raid stats. He gets an ability at his 7th upgrade, which Dragon Absorption ability. Here he has 16 million damage, 156 range, 4 SPA, about 4.1 million DPS. I think it's his new ability. And then he gets hybrid in the previous upgrade, and his attack type changes to AoE circle. So he's an AoE circle. Then we're going to look at this. Dragon Absorption. Upon activation, Evil Shade Final gains a permanent 7.5 million damage added to his original damage. And now does Black Flames damage. This shares an infinite cooldown with Vegu Ego Ascension. Okay. So you cannot use this with Vegu because, like I said, it shares it says an infinite cooldown. Black Flames damage, really good. Does it say how much Black Flames damage? It does not say, but I will say that it does like 3-4 times more than what this is. So this DPS will be a lot higher, stuff like that. So he's a lot better than it says when it comes to his stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? When it comes to his raid stats. So it's a lot better than it's shown. And then 8th upgrade, he gets his, for infinite mode, he gets his Darkness Flame ability. He's 155 million, 156 range, 10 SPA, DPS, 15 million. Here's his real stats here. Upgrade Dragon Absorption. Damage 51 million plus the 259 million with the flames damage. So about 5 million DPS. Stats. This is stats with it. Maybe this is the stats because that's really close there. Anyway, let's look at his. First off, let's look at the ability before we start saying anything. When activated, a short cutscene reference the Yu Yu Hakusho anime will play out, summoning the Dragon of Darkness Flame. Evil Shade Final deals 12.5 billion damage and applies Stoke effect on all enemies on the map. This ability has a cooldown of XX. That's basically an infinite cooldown, I'm guessing. And then Stoke has increased burn related stats effects such as burn, black flames damage by 1.5. It's hard to tell how much damage this will do, but it is. This doesn't fully show here how much damage he's actually doing because here it says 15 million DPS, 5 billion DPS. So what I will say is that he's better than what is shown here, and he might. I don't know if I want to put him A or S. I'm gonna put him S. He's very good. He's just best. Oh, he's just the best right now, right? And yeah, not the best. He's the best Black Flames unit right now. That's what I meant to say. And he just does tons of damage. And then he has basically 12.5 billion nukes. And then he applies that Stoke effect as well, which is really good. Probably one of the best nukes in the game. And then the Stoke effect as well on top of it. So I will put him in S tier. He's the best Black Flames damage in the game. On to our next unit, Aizen. Hoyukyu Aizen. Go, looking at a buff. Deployment 500, good. 67,000 damage. 72 range. This is all with buff, by the way. So the range and stuff usually doesn't look as good. Just make sure everybody knows. Let's just look at his raid stats real quick. Basically everything here is raid stats just because people use him for raids. That's what he's mostly used for. So I'll just go based off everything off of this last here. His last upgrade here, 1.5 million. Damage is 8 million, basically 9 million, 132 range, 8 SPA, 1.5 million DPS, special move, yada yada. He sucks. Basically, he sucks. He's not very good. Even as a DPS in raids, which is mostly used for. But no one uses him for his DPS. They use him for his special abilities that he gets. So on his third upgrade, he gets Hypnosis Reverse. Upon activation, Aizen will rewind all enemies within his range back to the position they were 12 seconds ago. This ability has a cooldown of 80 seconds. Units affected by this ability cannot be affected by it again. Alright, simple ability. It's a rewind. Pretty good rewind. Nothing crazy. I would say it does boost his, potential stock a bit. But then what people usually use him for is this Hypnosis Takeover. When activated, he copies the first 10 enemies in his range and summons them from the base. Similar to Spider Boss, all summon units have half of that enemy's current health with a health cap of 100 billion. That's a high health cap. Can only be used once, has an infinite cooldown, and that is shared with Patchface's Domain of Perfection. Alright. So what makes him valuable is pretty much this ability right here. Otherwise, he'd probably be like a E tier unit, F tier unit, but because of this, it probably brings him up to a low B tier, I would say. Just because he is very viable in raids and stuff like that. He's used a lot in raids. Nothing else really, but raids he is very good in. And just because the raid is a big part of the game, he is a B tier to me, low B tier at least, but he's a B tier. All right. Next unit is Griffith. All right. Let's look at him fully. Placement is 500. And we're just going to look at his raid stats. Well, I guess he is all raid stats. Let's just look at his last ability here. About 40 million, 41 million, close to there, 138 range, 9 SPA. So 4.5 million DPS. Sucks, I will say. But that's not why he is good. He slows. He has a slow. I don't know. Oop. So he starts slowing at about 12,000. So about $30,000, you'll get him some slow. There you go, a good slow unit. And then he gets his standby, which is this. Upon activation, Valken Ascendant will stop attacking until his ability is activated again. This cooldown of this ability is 10 seconds. Doesn't say much about standby, which this is basically like the Jiren skill, right? Where he meditates for a little bit and he gets stronger. It says for so it has to do something. It doesn't just do this. So because of that, he will probably be better than what I am saying he is. At least according to this website, which is All Star Fandom. So, okay. I will put him because he is slow and then he has the standby skill, which I believe buffs his damage. I don't know how much it buffs it. Hopefully it's more than this. But he is slow, which is slow is always welcome. And he has a standby. So I'll probably put him up top of C tier, maybe bottom of B. I'll put him bottom of B for right now. I don't see him going much higher than that. Next unit. Heavenly Duo. Gilgamesh and Enkidu. I think pretty sure I said that wrong. Anyway. Heavenly Duo placement 600. Let's go look at the raid stats. Here we go. 29 million DPS, 108 range, 6 SPA. About a 5 million DPS for raid, which is pretty good. But he gets Gates of Ages and Babylon. That's just his attack, my bad. So he's not the best for raid units, but he's solid damage for raid. And then for infinite, he does 44 million DPS, which is pretty good, or I'll say really good. And then his ability, Anima Reduction, attains Anima Reduction on his last one. Upon activation, a cutscene will play on Gilgamesh, casting Anima and Elish. It reduces HP of every enemy in the map by 25%. This ability will not work on enemies below 25 and is a one-time use. This ability does not stack with other percentage nukes, the exceptions being Luffy, Future T Aqua, and Aqua Vegu's Execution, and the strongest in history's Waffle Maker. Really good damage, and then has a 25% nuke on everybody on the field. He's a solid unit. Nothing groundbreaking. He was better when he was first released. So I might put him A. Put him A. But I don't see him hitting S just because I feel like he has to do more than just that, if you know what I mean, for him to be considered top in the game. So next we're going to check out Tanjiro. So here we go. He has sunburn damage. He is 1,000 to place. He does about 77,000 damage with the buff, of course. And then he has 136,000 sunburn damage, which goes about 11,000 DPS. And then his raid stats are right here, upgrade 6, 28 million, 49 million with sunburn, 120 range, 7 SPA. He is a hybrid. What is this? It's a circle. His attack is a circle AoE at this point. He does 4 million DPS, which is not bad. He is pretty good. I would say for like raid, like early stages of raid, he's pretty good. And then he has a sunburn damage, which can help with elemental enemies. Besides that, he is fairly okay, I would say. Like he's good in raids, but I don't see him much, at least up to here, for anything else. And then of course, last upgrade, 251 million damage plus 440 million with Sunburn, 156 range, 12 SPA, 20 million DPS. Twin Dragon's Fury attacks change to AoE cone. No, nothing really else. It's a pure DPS with Sunburn. That's what the DPS is with the Sunburn. It's 12 SPA. I don't see him being that crazy good here. Yeah, like he's just a pure DPS, and he's not the best pure DPS out there either. Like Boros is better than him, and he doesn't have ability either. It's not like a nuke on the field, so he doesn't have like a 2 billion nuke. I might put him above Aizen here, or I might switch it out like this. I don't know which one to put above who. I'll put him above Aizen for right now, just because he is better in raids, and he's actually viable in raids. I mean, not raids, infinite. While Aizen really isn't. He's a one-time cooldown, and it works only once. So I would say, yeah, I would say he's better than Aizen, just because. Well, I'll put him up higher than Eren. Eren's full AoE, not the highest DPS there is out there, like not very high at all, but he has that ability, the cooldown. So no, I would say no, or I might put him because he needs Ymir. Um, I would say, oh, I would say no for right now. I might change my mind later. So, but for now, I think he's a little bit worse than Aizen. So next, we're gonna checking out Ichigo. His Dangai Ichigo with the buff, placement 500, terrible DPS on placement with the buff. His first upgrade 35,000, too much. Okay, let's check his rage stats. 26 million damage, 90 range, 5.1 SPA, and then 5.24 million DPS in rage, which is pretty good. But I believe that okay, no, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get his. I thought he's gonna get his ability now, but no. Which is here is actually pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. He's better than Tanjiro when it comes to at least DPS wise in raids. So it looks like, which is interesting. I never thought that. So there you go. But we're gonna check out his infinite here. So his last upgrade 6, 223 million, 120 SPA, 120 range, 8.1 SPA, 27 million damage. And then his Special Awakening. Special Awakening, 28 million SPA, basically a billion Black Flames damage. But he gives him Black Flames effect. Attacks can now only hit air, though. Only hit air does hold him back a lot. If they didn't have that, it would probably be a lot higher. In his last upgrade, he gains Ability Awakening. This boosts his damage by 1 million, increases range by 30, narrows his AoE cone, and allows him and then just chase him to airs. But he has Black Flame. However, there's a toll, which is that not hit ground enemies activating ability will turn off this ability and revert his stats to normal. Further, no, if Ikipon Awakens is buffed by Almighty before you transform, he will not be able to transform. However, if he transforms before being buffed, it works perfectly. Okay. That's an interesting little tidbit here. It's not very important, but it's very interesting. So, he is very good, but only when it comes to airs, basically. He is also solid here when it comes to raid, 5.2 million DPS, which is pretty good. But he doesn't do anything special. He has no Black Flames or nothing like that at this upgrade. He has no Night Slow, nothing like that. So he is very bland until he gets basically his Awakening, and his Awakening makes him very good, but only for airs. So I can't put him very high. I might put him like below Griffith or The only hit airs thing puts me off a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. He does very good EPS, but I might do top a C tier at this point. I know he did get a buff recently, I believe. Let me see. Because he says it. It doesn't say. I thought he got one pretty recently, but I'll put him in B tier because there's stuff you can use him in, like the only airs special event or whatever it was called. So like the only airs like zone. He's very good in that. So yeah, but and he's fairly solid in raids. He's pretty good in raids. I'll put him here, but in Infinite Gauntlet, other things, no. No, he's not. I don't see him. I might even do this. I don't know if I'll just leave like this for now. Actually, yeah, because I feel like his ability is more viable than his, or it's more useful. But you don't use him in raids, so I'm gonna just leave him here then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next unit. Ooh. Oh. On Beast. Beast Gohan. All right. Place. We DP 8,000 DPS, 67,000 overall, 72 range, SPA. Nothing crazy. Let's look at his raid stats here. Upgrade 5. Pretty cheap too. 3.8 million DPS damage, range 128, 8 SPA. Yeah, terrible DPS. Don't really recommend him, at least for raids. Well, I want to know when does he get his rage here? I'm guessing I'm just saying he gets his rage on placement. Even then, she's not the best when it comes to raids, it looks like. Anyway, let's go. Let's just go look at his upgrade 6. Damage 24 million, 150 range, ASPA, 3 million DPS, special cannon beam, and he gains an additional 420,000 per wave for 12 waves. This is damage after everything. 7 million DPS, maximum rage effect. That is terrible. I'll be honest, that is terrible. I would just say his maximum DPS with Yhwach, and then I don't know if I'm missing something here. There, and then yeah, it's not really showing me much here. Maybe this should be like 30 million. I don't know, but he I will take this into consideration. 34 million. Not very. There's better units out there for DPS. I'll say that. And then for raids too, like Boros is better. We'll put him higher than Eren. Probably. Or hold on. Let me look at. I want to look at Tanjiro stats actually. We're gonna put him up above Tanjiro again. Oh. 20 million DPS. Yes, I'll put him above Tanjiro. Put him right here. Right below um right below Boros, but above Eren, even though I have mixed things with what information it was given me. Alright. Next unit I want to check out is Gojo Goku Ultra Instinct. Goku Ultra Instinct. I can't say his name. Alright, here we go. 750 deployment. There we go. SPA 7,000 damage. On placement, he's actually very good. It doesn't really show too much here. But yeah, he is very good with upgrades, stuff like that, buff. Because he attacks every 0.25 seconds, 66 range, or he has less range, but he's very good in beginning of raids, infinites, basically anything except anything that starts off with high damage, of course. And then let's look at his raid stats right here: 31 million damage, 102 SPA. I mean range, 6.4 SPA. UPS is about 5 million. Addicted beam, and then AOE clone. Really good stats, about 5 million DPS. Raids. So it's like Ichigo's level. I think Ichigo's a little bit better. He's like 500, like 5.2 million. So he's like right there. And then his max, 260 million damage overall, 132 range, 7 SPA, and 37 million DPS. And then, of course, his abilities. His two abilities. He has Awakening. You get him a 6 on the 6th upgrade. Upon activation, Awakening, Senna will play a cutscene where Goku, Ultra Instinct, awakens to his instinctive form, and then all enemies take 15% more damage. He will now also obtain the critical effect, dealing 3 times damage on every third hit he does. And it lasts for 4 minutes, a cooldown of 15 minutes. Alright. Pretty good ability. Like support ability. Upon activation, a cutscene will play, and will do 11.5 billion to all enemies on the map. This ability can only be used once, and it must be charged up to 100% before use by killing enemies, similar to Ultra Goku and Super 2 Vegu final. Pretty good. Both really good abilities. One is nuke, the other one is the support. Used together, they're actually very good. With a very high DPS too. Not the best, but a very high DPS. I will put him right below Heavenly Duel, because even though his DPS shows that he isn't as good as, I guess you'd say, Boros, but he has abilities which Boros doesn't. I'll put him above Boros in low A. I don't put him above Heavenly Duel. I might put him above Heavenly Duel. Because Heavenly Duel has the 25%. He has the nuke and the support. Let me look at Heavenly Duel's stats real quick. With the buff, of course. 44 million. Okay, so he's like almost 10 million higher. I will put Goku over them just because of the support. Keep exiting this, not need it. So I'll put him there. Our next unit is Zoro. I know he had a fair share of his debuffs and buffs lately, so let's go check him out. Employment 5,000, 27 million, not 27,000 DPS, 195,000 with 195,000 lead, 72 range, 7 SPA. We're just gonna look at his raid stats here with it's right here, which is about 4.1 million DPS, and then 29 million damage with another 29 million damage of bleed, 96 range, 7 SPA. Solid raid unit, not the best, but fairly solid, at least DPS wise. And upgrade 10 million damage, $10 million, 163 million damage, and 163 million bleed damage, 132 range, 9 SPA, DPS of 20 million. And then demonic potence attack changes to AoE circle. Attacks can now hit air enemies. So he's a hybrid now, with bleed. First time basic kick for One Piece. And he is a unique. So I will say that he is doing good damage, but amazing damage, I guess you'd say. Like, there's just way better 7 stars damage wise. He doesn't do anything else. He does bleed, I guess, but if you're using elementals and stuff like that, he'll be useful. But most of the time, bleed is not going to help too much. with someone who does 40 million DPS compared to his 20 million. So I might put him in like top of C, maybe. Let me see where Broly's looking like again, because I don't know why I have Broly so low. The Broly has to be a bit better than this. There's no way Broly is like this. 22 million plus 29 million. So yeah, no, there's no way. He's probably up there way better. So I will move him this instant, basically. There's no way he is this low. I'll put him. Who would I prefer? I'll actually put him. I'll put him above Gohan. I might even put him above Boros, but I would just put him right by Gohan for right now. Anyway, Zoro. Just want to look how much damage he had. Zoro. I don't know where to put him really. He's in a weird position here. Because I don't think he's better than Ichigo, if I'm being honest. I really don't. But he is more versatile. But he's better in raids. I'm gonna put him at. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know where to put him. Put him top of C. Then Ichigo, I'll leave him there. Griffith seems pretty good there. I think everybody looks pretty good for right now. All right. Our next unit is Sasuke. I can already tell you. Oh, we're out here now. Let's go look at Sasuke. Manga kill Sharingan. Don't even need to look at him really. How bad he is. We'll look at raid stats. I guess I'll consider the first million raid stats. Terrible. Absolutely trash. And then let's go look at his full damage. Terrible. Again, 11 million damage, 224 million over burn damage over 20 ticks. Not really. DPS 1 million. Terrible. Samurai Arrow 2. Circle AoE becomes bigger. He's terrible. Think about it. DPS 1 million. He is terrible. I'll put him higher than Ryuk. Will I? Yes, I will put him higher than Ryuk. But he sucks. He is not good at all. Next, we have Madara Uchiha. 7-star before this update, basically, or the newest update, which was Sukuna and Vegeta. So here we go. Placement 1,000. Does he have the buff? Yep. There you go. Ground AoE. 73,000 damage, 60 range, 6 SPA. Good placement. Let's look at his raid stats. Here we go. 41 million damage, 120 range, 9 SPA. Has pretty good DPS for a raid. He is hybrid. And then the tames Suku manual ability. Suku. When this ability is activated, all enemies in the entire map will be time stopped for 40 seconds. Although in nature it is similar to Mysterious X and Jokatu Kojo, Ascended, Strotro, it can stack with them and is instead uses the global cooldown shared amongst the Patriot, Red Servant, Max Captain. Base protection's cooldown for the entire ability is 360 seconds. Pretty short cooldown. It is a entire field time stop for 40 seconds. Within the duration of the ability, Legendary Path applies. Legendary Path applies DOT effects similar to True Evil, Full Power, DCK. Reduce enemies to 33%, 1% taken off every 2 seconds, and it's merely time stops abilities below 33%. Very good ability. Very good. And he gets that as raid. Very good raid unit. Do recommend using in raid. We're gonna check out then we're gonna look at his infinite stats. 300. Yeah, let's look at that again. 8,389,844 million damage. Range 132. Range, this is with buff. 9 SPA. And then 43 million DPS. And then Ames Yomi manual ability. Yomi. On activation, all enemies are rewinded to their position 36 seconds ago. Very good rewind. In addition, enemies are converted into summoner clones, which retain 10% of enemies' HP, similar to Aizen. Aizen has 50%, though. This has 10%. This ability also inflicts Black Flame's nuke that deals approximately times 16 his current damage over 40 seconds. The Black Flames instantly deal the damage if Lucci Heaven time acceleration affected the enemy. Damage from the Black Flames nuke scales with legendary leader paths damage. The rewind from this ability is able to stack with other rewinds, regular rewinds, such as King Julian. Julian, King of Wizards. Cooldown for the entire ability is 840 seconds. Very good ability. I think he is fairly easily an S tier with those abilities and that DPS as well. Will I put him above the new unit? I might actually. I might put him above the new unit. What does the new unit do? For a second. I just want to look at his buff abilities. I will keep him here. I'll keep him above him. Keep him above what's his name? Hayu? I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I'm very sorry. I never watched Yu Hakusho. Anyway, moving on. Lucci. Or Pucci. It's Lucci game. Pucci made in heaven. Placement 600. That's crazy. And then upgrade 6. 4 million. Let me format. Oh man, I'm out of it at this point. 400,000. 4.5 million DPS, 120 range, 4 SPA. And this is with buff, by the way. Just make sure. Actually, no. This is his raid stuff here. This 1.6 is a little much. Go. This is his raid right here. 1.6 million, 92 range, 4 SPA, 410,000 DPS, having judgment. Pretty much sucks. I don't know if he slows or if he does something similar, especially time acceleration universe reset. But raid wise, he sucks. Then we look at his infinites and other stuff. 3.5 million, 7.6 million damage, 120 range, 4 SPA. Basically 2 million DPS sucks. But that is not what he is used for. On activation, he uses these abilities. Time acceleration. Lucci will create a consumable status effect for all enemies in range. When the next DOT effect, Bleed Burn, hits, it will deal all ticks of DOT damage in a single hit. For example, instead of needing 24 hits, it will take 1 hit fully. Rupture. This ability has 1 minute global cooldown. This ability doesn't work on armored enemies as they are immune to status effects. Pretty good effect. Nothing crazy in my opinion though. Upon activation, as universe reset, upon activation, Lucci resets all enemies back to the spawn, no matter where they are on the map. But in exchange, all enemies affected by it be returned to full HP. This is a one-time use. It's a good one-time use. It buys you time. But the full HP thing is not doing either. I don't think he's that crazy good. I might put him here, actually. But he does have... Do I want him there or maybe a little higher? He does have that time acceleration, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I want him. I don't think he's better than Zoro. Keep that out there. He's not better than Zoro. don't know he's better than him. No, forgot his name. I'm sorry. I never watched anything past JoJo Part 3. Hmm, don't know where I'm gonna put him. I'll put him just here then, because I don't. His ooh, does have time slot ability. I'm gonna just keep ooh there. And then ooh, the old faithful raid unit, metal freezer, metal cooler, baby. He's not an amazing unit on placement. 500. You know what I mean? DPS 2500, but this not why I use him. He basically he's cheap for everything. And then this here what he uses him. Terrible DPS. Actually, no, hold on. Before I start judging him on his terrible DPS, let's give him the 175 level 175 first. Terrible DPS. You don't use him for that. Use him for this. It's the self clone ability. So clone when clicked, metal cooler summons a clone with 22 million HP. It does not scale with level. Has a cooldown of 45 seconds. So cooler's clones have a DPS of basically 488,000 per cooler. This pairs with auto activation. Multiple clones are summoned on maps with multiple parts, one for each path. So this is really good for like basically raids early raids basically. Um, it's not like best thing in the world for raids. And he isn't what he used to be. There is a lot more units now that can kill bosses and stuff like that, but he's still a very viable raid unit that is always recommended to use. So I might put him like low. Well, he's better than Ichigo, I will say. Well, he's not better than Griffith. I'll put him above Ichigo. You know, Ichigo is good for airs, which I don't know if I want to put him over above Ichigo. There's a lot of people in B tier. I might put him in C. Top of C. Hmm. I don't know where to put him. Because he's basically sucks anywhere else but raids, but he's very good in raids. So I'll put him above Ichigo for right now. Yeah, I'll put him above Ichigo for right now. Yeah, I'll just do that. I don't know why that sounds off to me, but then I'm like, well, I don't know I don't know if Ichigo would be better than him, just how good he is at raids. So yeah, that is my opinion. And then we're gonna look at the next unit, which is Katakuri. Probably one of the best, if not the best, slow in the game. Placement 10,000 is wax slow. That's right, they did change it. Wax slow is a lot slower now. And then we can look at his raid stats. Oh, he only has raid stats. I don't remember where I was, but so he is basically best slow in the game. With the wax slow, they did change that recently. It makes it a lot slower, but it is not permanent slow. It's like a 35-second slow. That means you either put him all over the map, basically, but it doesn't change much anyway. So we'll look at his damage. Yeah, terrible damage. Not known for his damage. This is with buff, right? This is with the buff. Which he whirlwind attacks change to full AoE. This right here, the full AoE. He has nothing else. He's a full AoE slow with that. The range of 60, a little bit lower without the buff. But that is very good. Slow wise, everything else he kind of sucks in, but he's usable in basically everything else. So I might put him. It's very weird to rank him because he is basically pure support, which is much like Pucci and Diavolo here are pretty much. Same thing with Kid Buu here. So it's hard to say. I guess you could say Griffith is a support too. You know what? I'm not going to add support because I'm just going to rank them against themselves, how important they are, stuff like that. If they are support, they are considered important to an extent. So is DPS. I'll just put them all in the same category, even though it's hard to. I'll put him like here, to be honest. That full AoE slow is really good, and it's something you can use in anything because he's fairly cheap overall. He's a raid unit, infinite, anything. Some you would probably use when you bring anything for anywhere, basically. He's very usable. I don't think he's better than Boros just because Boros is maybe not used much, but when he's fully maxed out, the DPS. Well, actually, no, I don't know. I might take the slow over the DPS just because we will have others. I might put him like maybe low A. This is very interesting because trying to rank a support unit like this. Usually it's just in a support category. I might put him above Boros, which is weird to say, but I might put Mochi or Katakuri above Boros. I'll say that. If I get flamed for it, I get flamed for it, whatever. Another support coming up next. We have Gojo. Here's look at his full stuff. 500 placement. His raid stats are here. Very cheap raid stats. 4 million damage, 144 range, really good range. It's not his range without buff, but I think it's like 130, I want to say. Yeah, I'll show you. Without buff, 120. Okay, and then yeah, and then he gets the tag change, and then he gets a new, it's like coin AoE, yep. But then before that is what makes him good is his mini domain. Mini domain, 30 upgrade, like the 6-star. Mysterious X has a manual ability that allows him to time stop all enemies in his range for a certain amount of time. The larger the range, the more reach his time stop has. He has a very large range. This is not much of a problem. Cooldown 45 seconds, pretty slow cooldown. Duration 8 seconds. There you go. He is at 8 placement. So that makes it a lot better. And then we'll look at his infinite stats next. 30 million damage, 144 range, 8 SPA, about 3.8 million DPS, which is actually pretty good for a support unit overall. Especially for you don't really use him for damage at all. So I would say that's pretty good. He's also really good in raids, if I didn't say that. Where's time stop, of course. Upon activation, he gets this on his last upgrade and final domain finisher. Upon activation, Gojo will use full extent of his limitless abilities to time stop the entire map for a minute and deal 7.5 billion damage to all enemies in the map. This ability can be reused both the time stop and the nuke. Final domain finisher has a global cooldown of 8 minutes for 480 seconds. Duration 60 seconds. Cooldown 480. So, where would I place Gojo? Very odd. Might put him below Mochi, or should I put him above and like low A tier? I don't know, because he does have the nuke on a support, which is really good. He has a time stop. He does lose the fast time stop, but you only have to upgrade basically one of them. So I might put him low A, in my opinion. But I might put Mochi like here then. I might do this then. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better than I think he's better than Mochi just because he's better DPS and then a nuke as well. And he also has a support on it as well. But I think Mochi deserves an A tier as well because of how usable he is just in everything. So yeah. Go. See, what is our next unit? Ooh, Yamamoto. This is gonna be a little bit hard to rank him. Okay. Deployment 2000. Let's look. Here it is. Just upgrade 2. Basically, you don't want to use him for raids. This is what this means, basically. He's 228,000 for second upgrade. And he doesn't have amazing DPS either. So he's at full AoE though, which does add points. I will add a bunch of points to that actually. Full AoE. So he's not terrible for raid. But Eren is better in that he has basically the same DPS and it's cheaper to get to. I believe, if I'm not incorrect. Or I might be wrong actually. Hold on. Right here. No, he does not have the same DPS. Okay, I messed up. Let's go look. He's okay. I'll say he is better in raids than Eren. So, okay. And then his last ability only has 3 upgrades. 28 million and then 420 million with burn damage, 90 range, 8 SPA. This is full AoE, by the way, which is actually pretty good, in my opinion. DPS, definitely not the best there is. But that's not what you use him for. You use him for his abilities. Let's read all his abilities. Upon activation, or each upgrade, attack changes to AoE cone. His damage changed to 16,300,000. His range changes 100. His SP changes to 3.5. He does not burn and he cannot hit airs. Interesting. So here it shows you with East, right? He has a 34 million. Why is it so high? It changes. It doesn't add. Changes. Wait, does it add? No, it just changes to 16.3 million. I don't know if this is correct here. I'll take it at face value and say it is. But because it says it changes to damage will change to, it doesn't add to it. But he does not do burn or he cannot hit airs, which is not very good if I'm being honest. But if it is 34 million DPS, where it shows it right here. Oh, right here. Then it is a fairly good DPS, of course. Then West, upon activation, old, let's say Yamamoto at this point, will attack changes to full AoE. Heck, was he not full AoE before? Or maybe it just means like from. No, he is. He is full AoE, but maybe it's just changing from something else. Like change from a cone for like the East to AoE. Okay, his damage will change to 11 million. His range changed to 100,000. His SP changed to 5 inflicts, burn, and gains the effect to hit air enemies. How much damage is that? That is West, right? There you go. 16 million DPS. The other one is better, but it cannot hit airs, so. Oh, it is a full AoE too. So I would say this is probably West is probably better than East overall, just because it hits everything. And then it's also full AoE. And then for South, he turns to a summoner unit, summoning skeletons and scaling with his current damage on the map every 45 seconds. When defeated, the skeletons will explode and inflict burn damage to surrounding enemies. That is a very good summoner's ability. That just sucks he's unique. If he wasn't, he'd crazy. This ability would actually be probably one of the best abilities. Well, no. I couldn't tell you if it'll be one of the best abilities in the game. But this is a very solid ability. Probably the best summon ability in the game. But it's very hard to get to. And yeah. And then let's go north. Let's look at north. Upon active. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's look at south. Do they have. They don't have anything for south. Okay. Upon activation, Yamamoto attack damage to 55-degree AoE cone. His damage will change to 21,900,000. His range changes 150 range. His SP changes to 15. It explicit burns. It cannot hit air. Yeah, no, North isn't that good compared to at least the other two. He's a very, like I said, he's a weird person to rank. He is better than Eren when it comes to how to say, like when it comes to damage full AoE during raids. But he's also a lot more expensive too, so more expensive, more damage makes sense. I won't put him above Eren. Actually, will I? No. I'll put him right here, actually. Right here. If you do have him, which you cannot get him anymore, I'll put him right here. He does have some really good damage on him. Or actually, should I put him higher? Here? Is this summon ability as well? I don't know where to put him. I'll put him below Tanjiro and above Aizen. There you go. This is where I'll put him right here. Yeah, I'll put him right there. Looks good to me. Sounds good to me. All right. All right, these two basically the same unit. Ombre and Ambra, I believe. Just basically Sid from just Sid. Here, let's go. Deployment 690, 690. And this raid stats are right here, about 11 million DPS, not DPS, 11 million damage, 108 range, 5 SPA, 2 million DPS, and atomic. Look at the ability atomic. Upon activation, it plays a cutscene and deals Ambra's current damage to all enemies within its range, does not factor in bleed. This doesn't have a global cooldown. This cooldown's ability is 300 seconds, which it isn't that good. If I'm being honest, even with buff, hitting 11 million full AoE is just like a regular full AoE attack every 300 seconds. So it is a bonus, makes them a little bit better, but not very good. They're not bad for what you call it. They're not bad for raid. They're just not amazing either. I'm saying they because I'm talking about both the units, if you're wondering. And then let's just go look at the full stats for full stats for Infinite. 32 million damage plus 32 million bleed damage, 132 range, 5 SPA, 6.4 million DPS, which sucks, especially for like a DPS unit. Gains atomic all range, manual ability, loses atomic manual ability, so he loses this ability and gains atomic all range. Upon activation, a cutscene plays and deals 6 billion damage to enemies on the map. This ability is a one-time use and has global cooldown that is shared with Stampede. Okay. 6 billion damage is a good nuke, but no, it is not very good. Where would I put Bray? I might put him right here. And then I might move these two down here. Or this. I'll go like this. I'll go like that. There you go. Yeah, I put them two right there. They're not what they used to be, at least. They're not best. And yeah, the 6 billion nuke is good, but when you have someone like Gojo who does 7 billion and time stop as a support, or you have other things, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Now I'm looking at Eren. Eren is not very good. I'm actually gonna move Eren down. DPS and then 2.3 million minimum, and then maximum like 3 billion. No, I might put him here. I'll put Eren here. Eren was a little too high. All right, made some more changes. All right, next unit is Guts. Guts. Let's go. Here we go. 5,000 placement. And then we're going to look at a lot of upgrades here. Here we go. Right here. Raid stats right here. A lot of upgrades to go to it, but this is raids. So 16 million damage plus 48 for Rupture. 102 range, 5 SPA, so about 3.2 million DPS, which is good. Does it say if he's like a full circle AoE cone? I might just say circle. I don't know really. Yeah, I don't know. Does not say. But there you go. Fairly solid raid unit stats. Pretty expensive though to get to. Definitely not the best raid unit, but is a solid raid unit. All right, then upgrade 22. 22 upgrades. Holy cow. So this is 122. 122 million, 950, 122 million, 950 million, 122, 950 million. There you go. There you go. Actually, no, I'm saying it wrong still. Whatever, who cares? 122 million, let's just say that. Then 368 million with rupture damage and a range of 114, 6.2 SPA, and DPS about 20 million. But he's a full AoE, which is really good for 114. And ruptured, when hit, enemies take 25% of every 2 seconds for 24 seconds, dealing a total 3 times damage over the entire period. Okay. Berserk. Guts. My boy Guts. I will put him pretty high at least. I'll put him above them, above Ombre and Umbra. Will I do more than I might do here actually? I don't know if he's better than Tanjiro or if Tanjiro's better than him, but I'll put him like here. Yeah, that looks good to me. I'll put him above Tanjiro because of the full AoE. Next, units. Perfect Cell. Let's look at what Cell has to offer. Placement 500. Raids. Here we are. Or no, we can still go here. It's hard to say what his raid stats are, but I would say just go upgrade 9. You might be able to get him here, but yeah, not very good upgrade stats or raid stats. I guess you say even if you did upgrade him all the way, or you were able to have too much money for too little to gain. 13 million damage, 122 range, 8 SPA. He just sucks. He's pretty bad. Even if they do give him a buff, he is not very good. Total damage was increased here, but 5.2 million DPS. He's pretty much sucks. I'll put him D tier, our first D tier unit. Yeah. I'll put him better than Kurama does way more damage, but Kurama costs too much too, so that's why. Yeah. And our next unit is Princess Apala. I don't know how you say that. Placement 1,000. Let's check her full. Okay, I don't know where the raid would be, but I'll just say around here. So nothing crazy here, damage wise, as you can tell. I'll just say upgrade 8, 5 million damage, 114 range, 5 SPA, 1.1 million DPS. Not too good. But she does get an ability. Upgrade 2, Touch of Grace. Upon activation of this ability, all enemy types within her range, powerful, just everything, turn into regular enemies. However, unlike Demon Lord or in Dr. Heart, she can't turn cloners into regular enemies. So everybody turns to regular except cloners. Everybody appears to work on steadfast enemies and their steadfast status appears. They continue to be immune to things like time stops, low, DOT, etc. It slowly diminishes your utility in infinite modes. Further note that this ability has a global cooldown of 65 seconds. This right here basically shot her down a lot with that ability, not this clone thing. Her ability appears to work on steadfast enemies, and their steadfast status disappears, but they continue to be immune to things like time stop, DOT, slow, etc. So because she can't do that, she basically loses all value there. I might I put her above. Put her above Cell as a support unit, but otherwise she's not very good in my opinion, of course. And we're gonna check out our next unit, Luffy Gear 5. Check him out. 175, 15,000 placement. His raid stats are here. Here we are. Upgrade 6. 22 million damage, 132 range, 4 SPA, about 5.5 million DPS, which is actually, I think, probably the highest DPS we've seen for raids so far, besides maybe Cooler. So yeah, that's pretty good. Does he gain an ability? No, he does not gain ability until his last two upgrades. So we're going to check out his Infinite now, which is 132 million damage, 144 range, 4 SPA, really good DPS at 32 million. And then he has Liberation. And then before that, he had Fifth Form Gun in his last upgrade. So we're going to look at these two legislative abilities. Upon activation, so this is Fifth Form Gun. Upon activation, it's reduce enemy by 25% of their current HP, and then stacks with Demon King Meliodas, which is right here. It's very good. If you don't know, basically they're essential for bringing them on raids, stuff like that, because of the support ability, because they can stack. And type abilities and hits full map away and cooldown and global cooldown for abilities, 480 seconds. Really good ability. There you go. Liberation. Upon activation, timer of 5 seconds starts. Dying with that time frame will revive you and push enemy 4 paths backward. This ability can only be used once, and it does stack with Devil's special ability. More specifically, the enemy teleport effect. All other effects will be still activated. I've used it. It's alright, I guess. Doesn't really do much. Just basically gets you one more wave if you're trying to get leaderboards, I guess. So it's not the most helpful in the world. You usually use him for this Fifth Form Gun here. I'm gonna put him top of B, maybe bottom of A. I'll go bottom A. He's 32 million damage, which is really good. Should I put Boros here? But no, I'm not gonna leave Boros right there. Doing too much now. But yeah, he has those two abilities. One of them is basically saves your life. Not the most, let's say, 4 seconds small window, but it still can if you do it right. And he has the other support ability and then really good DPS. So I'll put him right there. Maybe above Mochi. Yeah, I'll put him above Mochi. Actually, no, I'll put him right here. Above those two. Well, yeah, I'll put him above those two. Yeah, that sounds good to me. That looks good to me. And then our next unit is Mob. Mob Psycho. Or Stampede in this game. Deployment 4,000. Let's check his full. Yeah, he sucks. He sucks. Unless he has what you call it, like ability he gets. He sucks for raids. 2 million damage, 96 range, 7 SPA, 290 DPS for raid is terrible. Don't use him for raid ever. There's 10 times better units. Alright. We're gonna look at his full infinite stats, which is 91 million damage, 138 range, 12 SPA. 7.6 million DPS. If he doesn't get saved by his basically ability, then he sucks. As per rage, when activated, it plays a cutscene and deals 9 million global damage. All units on the map. This ability has a global cooldown of 8 minutes. I don't know. It's good. How do you call it? It's good, but not very good. I guess you'd say. You're only going to use them for that, and I can't put him above. I put him below low C tier, like the lowest of C tier. He just has no usage. There's just better units to use that have better, what do you call it, better nukes. It just isn't. Oh. isn't the best thing in the world. All right, now to our next unit, which is our boy Kirito from Sword Art Online. I haven't watched that anime in a while. We were loving it though. Let's look at his raid stats. Let's go here. 55 million damage. Range 96, 12 SPA, about 4.6 million DPS. Pretty good. Pretty good DPS. I don't think he has an ability, right? Here we go. Memories. His memories. He doesn't have an ability. Okay. But let's look at his passive. Every third attack, Star King does an attack that does 3 times base damage. There you go. So this isn't a full showing of what his DPS is. Or this right here. This is not a full showing of what his DPS is. It's probably a little higher actually. Let's look at his infinite upgrades then. 7.5 million. Damage about 256 million, 144 range, 9 SPA, about 28 million EPS plus hybrids, and he can hit air. He has nothing, and then he hits every third hit. He does about what? Almost 800 billion in attack, which is very, very good. But besides that, he's 28 billion. So I'll put him maybe top of B tier. I'll put him top of B. Top of B sounds good to me. Yeah. Maybe Boros above him, but I'll put him top of B. All right. And our next unit, Yhwach, the Almighty from Bleach. His raid stats here. He has 1 million damage, 84 range, 6 SPA, 3.5 million damage. Not the best. Kind of middle of the pack there when it comes to damage. But that is not what he is known for. Yeah, he's not a raid unit. As simple as that, he is not a raid unit. But what he is a infinite unit. So 71 million damage, 120 range, 8 SPA, and about 9 million DPS, which is pretty good if you're considering that he is a buff unit. The only buff unit, I believe, for 7-star. Only 7-star buff unit. See, and then upon activation, all units on the map, even outside the Almighty's range, will receive a 300% buff damage and a 20% range buff for 60 seconds. But on this ability is also 60 seconds, meaning this permanent buff can be achieved through auto activation. Very good ability right there. Even though recently he did get replaced by someone who is just as good as him, but also base heals, and it's a 6-star. But he is still a very solid, buffer. Not what he used to be, but he is a very good buffer. So I will put him. I'll put him like here. I feel like that buff is amazing. If you have him, it buffs everything. It's a permanent buff. You only need one person to have him, an infinite. But he also isn't useful for raid. So there. I'll put him actually right behind the Yamamoto. Fairly fitting. I think he's better than Ombre and Umbra, but not by much. All right. And then our next unit coming up is Ymir. Where is Ymir? Here's the founder. This is the unit you need to use Eren's full potential. All right. Her raid unit, she gets about 2.5 million DPS, 17 million damage, 96 range, 7 SP. Well, this doesn't matter too much here. What matters is this Right here, these summons here. Show you. So in Rage, she goes up to here. She gets all this here. So she gets a Titan with 135 million HP, 120-second cooldown. That's very good. In raids, everything that is very good. Rewinds all enemies. Attack. This is attack giant. Rewinds all enemies in range for 10 seconds and spawns a Titan with 95 million HP. Really good. The founder. So that's 75 seconds cooldown. If I didn't say, the founder applies bleed to all enemies in range and spawns a Titan with 2.4 million HP, which is but the bleed is not bad. 600-second cooldown. No, that sucks. Yeah, no, this sucks. Jaw giant sucks. Don't recommend. I can't recommend you not get it because you have to get it. But you know what I mean. You can use them. Not very good. These two are way better. And then Heart Giant gives you 1,500 and spawns a Titan with 18,000 HP. 60-second cooldown. Not very good either, but it's it's as for like a on placement first upgrade. And it's only what? Well, not only, it's like almost 15,000 to get. But you know what I mean. Anyway, let's look at her infinite stats basically. 152 million damage, 120 range, 7 SPA, 21 million DPS. Very good actually for a unit that is mainly a summoner. So basically a bonus on top of her summons. We're gonna look at all the summons after raids, I guess. So yeah, Flying Giant spawns a Titan that can only hit air with it's basically 7 billion HP, 120-second cooldown. Very good here. You got Female Giant applies ultimate time stop to all enemies in the map. 40 seconds. It spawns a Titan with 30 billion HP, 900-second global cooldown. Very good, but the global cooldown is very crazy. Warhammer Giant Founder applies 1.5 damage roughly to all enemies in the map and spawns a Titan with 58 billion HP. 660-second global cooldown, about 11 minutes. And you cannot use this if Jaw Titan or Abnormal Giant burns on global cooldown. And then Colossal Giant. The founder deals 3.5 billion damage to all enemies in the map and spawns a Titan with 52 billion HP. 500-second global cooldown. And then Normal Giant bursts. Burns. Why did I say bursts? Founder applies times 4 burn damage to all enemies in the ring and spawns a Titan with 56 billion HP, if I'm correct. Yeah. 760 global cooldown. You cannot use this ability. I believe they basically nerfed this dude to dust. Yeah. She does get nerfed a bit here. Like some of her, I think, here. And some other stuff here. But she is a very good support unit with a bunch of different abilities and stuff like that. So she's pretty good in raid too. And with damage as well. So with everything like that, I'll put her maybe here. I don't know if he's above Luffy, but like here. Above Gojo and Katakuri. I'll put it right there. So yeah. Unit. And then next unit, Nagato from Naruto. Or Pain, whatever you know him as. There you go. So let's look at his raid stats here. 4.2 million damage. 70,000 DPS, which is not what he's used for. I mean, use him for damage, but that's not what he's known for. You get statue compression. You summon on first upgrade. You summon all these dudes over here. Yep. And because of that, we have to look at every single one of these paths. So let's go Path Asura. On deployment, 16,000 DPS. Deployment is 15,000 DPS. 24,000 DPS. Uses base AP. And 15,000 DPS. And then, yeah. Which is very good, actually. Because you get tons of these stuff. And then, of course, path. I forgot to say. Why did I skipped over him? I don't know why. 22,000 DPS. Get all that. Then we're just looking at every single one of them. Just go through him. Go his raid stats. Yep. Text change. He's a full AoE. And he's a slow. Full AoE slow here. Which is very good. He's a unique though, only can place one of them. And then raid stats here. He's about 482,000 DPS. Detonation. Does it say he does anything? His burn damage. His burn. That path animal. Raid stats here. It has bleed. And about 587,000 DPS. And then raid here. 2.8 thousand, a million, 96 range, 2.5 SPA, 1 million DPS. And he does crits. It's basically the same as what you call it? What's his name? Kirito. Why couldn't I think of that? I don't know why. Anyway, here there's about 23,000 HP heal every 60 seconds. Raid mode, pretty good. Not crazy, but pretty good. And he has drain life energy. I think that's just his attack. 502,000 DPS, 2 million damage. And attack changes enemies a chance to nature. So if you're using fire, there you go. And then deployment. Here we go. The hybrid 526,000. Not 536,000 DPS. 90 range, 6 SPA, and 3.2 million DPS. And he has Gale Slow. So basically he has everything. And that's just for raid. I don't think too much changes, except more damage, of course. So 4.4 million DPS for infinite. Same thing for Asura, but here, there you go. 13 SPA. There you go. There's way more bleed. 2.2 million DPS with what is this? Burn? No, it's crit. And then basically 60,000 60 million every 60 seconds now or heal. Was I wrong before? Oh, my bad. It is 24 million, not 24,000. So I'm wrong on that one. About 12,500,000 DPS, and he is changes his enchant, of course, to nature, and then he's a full AoE. The last one is a full AoE. 2 million DPS. Divine Force action is a full AoE, and he's a Gale Slow, right? Full AoE Gale Slow. And then, is he still a slow? Is the regular one still slow? Because here, flick slow. Yes, that is very good. So, just put him top of A or low S. I'll put him top of A. I'll put him top of A for right now. Top of A. If I want to change him in the future, I will. But top of A. All right, then our next unit is a new unit. Another new unit. It just came out recently. Sukuna, the strongest in history. All right, looking at his raid DPS right here, 53 million, 144 range, 4 SPA, about 11 million DPS, which I think is the highest DPS seen just highest straight DPS, which is really good. And then this is before Rupture too. If he had Rupture, it's probably way better. And then full infinite, So upgrade 7, about 406 million plus about 1.2 billion rupture, 216 range, 8.5 SPA, so almost 50 million DPS, and that is without these abilities taking into account. So he's probably already S tier. All right. First ability, Waffle Maker. Upon activation, strong surgery kills all enemies that have 10% or lower HP. This is not bad, but it's not amazing either from my experience from using him. Basically have the guess if their enemies are 10% or less. So, yeah. An incomplete shrine. His other ability, Strong's in history, applies burn all enemies on the map, causing them to take 2.5 billion damage every second for 7 seconds in total, dealing 17.5 billion damage total price of 7 million damage to player's base, 150 million damage player's base. This plays a cooldown of approximately 12 minutes, but it can only be used once. That doesn't make sense. It has a cooldown of 12 minutes, but it can only be used once. I don't understand that. I'll just take it can only be used once as it can only, it's a one use infinite cooldown. But this is crazy right here. Probably the best nuke in the game, I want to say. Of course, you need that 750 million base damage from like Mahito, Pain, Nagato, you know, from these people that heal base. So if you do pair it up with Sukuna, crazy damage, crazy nuke, probably the best nuke in the game. I'll put him S tier, right here, above Madara. If I could put him up there, you go. All right, for the next unit, we're gonna be looking at Shigaraki, I believe. If this will go through all this, hold on. Pressed him like a billion times. Oh, no, we're here. Let's go back. So Shigaraki, true evil, full power. Here we are. Unattainable. I didn't say that for everything, but he is unattainable. So his anyway, so his raid stats 1.4 million, 120 range, 7 SP8, 212,000 DPS. And then he gets decay. So raid, he does decay. On activation, all enemies within true full powers range will lose 0.6% of their total HP every second until they reach 65% of their max HP. Which takes a minute to do so. It only affects non-bosses that are above 65% of their HP. This ability does a cooldown of 4 minutes. Not the worst ability in the world, but sucks because it doesn't work on bosses. So you cannot be a boss killer, which is why. I don't know, but you can, I guess. And then his last upgrade, 1.5 million, 3 million, 3.8 million damage, 120 range, 7 SPA, 555,000 damage. EPS, I mean, he sucks. Yeah, I'll put him pretty bad. I don't know if he's better than. I think the ability just makes him a little bit better than Sasuke, but not by much. All right, let's go look at the next unit, which is Goku Super Saiyan 3 and. My bad. The unit is Goku Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta Super Saiyan. Ooh, is it Majin Vegeta? No, just regular Vegeta Super Saiyan 2. Deployment of 50,000, which is a lot. And his raid stats 2.4 million DPS, 19 million damage, 120 range ASPA, the AoE circle. Doesn't get his ability till later, so we're gonna look at that. His infinite stats is 127 million damage, 132 range, 11 SPA, 11 million DPS, and then Energy Bomba. Energy Bomba is a special ability that can be activated once. It's fully charged. You try to activate before 100%. The ability will not do anything to enemies and will go on cooldown for a few seconds. To increase the percentage the end unit has to kill enemies, it takes 250 units to reach 100%. When activated, the ability does 10 billion damage to all units on the map. Even the percent shown in the icon can, even though the percent shown in the icon can exceed 100,000. The damage dealt by the ability is still capped at 10 billion. This ability shares a global cooldown with the Pharaoh's ability. Alright. Pretty much sucks without the ability. A 10 billion nuke, pretty good. Let's say that nuke is pretty good. I might put him right above. Well, he does do good, way better damage than Mob. I might put him somewhere here. Maybe here. I might put him right above Mob. Not a very good unit. Low C, no. And then Jiren. Our next unit is Jiren. Jiren 600 placement. We're gonna look at his raid stats. Pretty much suck. His raid stats are not good. Is this on buff, right? This is on buff, 175. Terrible raid stats. I'll use them for raids. Simple as that. And then his last upgrade, 1,600,000 damage, 25 million damage, 138 range, 6 SPA, 4 million DPS, and then meditation. Meditation upon activation universe. So Jiren will stop attacking an enemy. His key focus will increase by 1 per wave and will increase up to 10 times. When activated and after a cooldown of 35 seconds, then will raise depending on the key force he attained and will permanently gain 235,000 damage for every point, regardless of level, and cannot use the ability a second time. I believe he keeps that for the whole time. This is what he gains. This is him after the 10 wave, 7.1 million DPS, 6 SPA, 138 range. I don't know. I know he's better than what's shown. I can tell you that from usage standpoint and stuff like that. But he also is not amazing either. I might put him here or here. I don't know. Because these two I feel like are way better at raids and are more usable across the game than he is. So I will say here then. Right here. Put Jiren right there. Alright, our next unit is another new unit. Ultra Ego Vegeta. So buff. Place him 515,000 DPS on placement. And then he gains an additional 1,120 damage rage. And then let's go his rage stats, $200,000, 31 million damage, 132 range, 5 SPA, about 6.2 million DPS, and is higher because of his rage. So yeah, I don't know how much it would be with rage when it is in a raid. It would be higher than this, which is already like the second highest we've seen for DPS in when it comes to units. So yeah. And then upgrade, let's go infinite upgrade. Look at it. 188 million damage, 132 range, 7.5 seconds, and 25 million DPS. So this is without any of his abilities used or his, rage. So this is with the rage. So 377 million damage, 132 range, 7.5 SPA, 50 million DPS. This is with the maximum rage, and then plus the wounded pride and max rage. He adds another 22 million to it. So probably one of the highest, if not the highest DPS in the game because of it. So upon activation, so it's Spirit Fission, he gets this when he is. Where does he get this? On its second upgrade. This even makes him better in raid. Upon activation, all enemy types within this range except clones basically turn to regular enemies. So Yeah, good unit. I mean, not good, a good ability. Not the craziest thing in the world, but is a good support. And then then he gets this infinite. Upon activation, Vegeta Ego buffs his overall power and adds a permanent 61 million damage to his current damage. This ability also allows him to hit elementals for 50% of his damage. Ability has an infinite cooldown, so on one-time use, and he can hit elementals. Very good. And upon activation, a cutscene will this is instinctual destruction. Upon activation, a cutscene will play, and half your base HP will be removed. Removed HP is added to your nuke of 9 billion. A total damage caps at 15 billion. Even though Sukuna's can do a bit more damage, this one you don't really need base HP for. Even though it does take it, it only cuts it in half. So if you have two, it only takes one. So this doesn't kill you if you don't have enough, unlike Sukuna's. So I will say, and it does cap at 2 billion, 2.5 billion less. So, but it's still really good. Nuke probably like second best in the game. I'll put him. I'll put him. I put him up. I'll put him above Sukuna. Yeah, I'll put him above Sukuna. I think he is better than Sukuna. Maybe not so good take, but oh well. I get 8 for it. All right, next unit is another Vegeta. Basically, this is the basically the pre-evolved form of Vegu. It is also alter ego Vegeta. He's still a solid unit. His move, I won't say solid. He's still a 7-star unit. That's what I meant to say. So with buff, 175 level right here. It's 6.5, 6.3 million damage, 96 range, 7 SPA, and then almost a million damage. And it's a cone AoE. Terrible. Don't really use them. There's a lot better 7 stars to get and use in Infinite. So yeah. And then his last upgrade for Infinite, I mean in raids. Like I'm all over the place right now. 38 million damage, 120 range, 10 SPA. DPS is about 3.8 million. Does it have anything else? Final Implosion, tag changes. If it's a full AoE, if he had this for maybe raid, it would be solid. But otherwise, he is top of D tier, I would say. Actually, no, I'll put him above Cell. Yeah, I'll put him above Cell. That's it. Not very good. All right, and then our next unit will be Deco Vigilante. Placement 500. His raid stats right here. 2.6 million damage, 108 range, 5 SPA, 524,000 DPS. Sucks, but he does get other stuff. So here, he gets all this on the 5th upgrade. And then the 6th upgrade, he loses it all except the first one. So his first thing he gets is buffs all units within his range 100% for 3 times. Plus buffs from buff their range by 20%. This ability lasts 30 seconds with a cooldown of 60. 10 seconds, 20 seconds with 3 times speed. Whip basically makes them stun enemies. Smoke can slow and float. Attacks only hit air enemies like Ichigo's. Attacks change to AoE cone. And then once he gets here, I don't understand why would you do this, because you basically remove all other abilities and you just get this one. That's it. Not even an upgraded version of it. So, but he does 1.2 million DPS, 12 SPA, 132 range at 14 million damage with the buff. Not very good. He's a support unit more than anything. Put him right there. Because with his support and all that, I believe he can be somewhat useful with the slow and then the buff and then other things as well. With the buff of range, stun, slow. These two not very good, but they do something at least. I'll put him there just because he has some usable usage, some usable support. All right. Then our next unit is Meliodas, Demon King version. But you could probably get him full damage, I guess full upgrade in raids, but I'm gonna just say upgrade 5 right now is his raids. So he gets 6.9 million damage, 132 range, 8 SPA, DPS is about 871,000. Has no ability. And then an upgrade, well, he's not very good for raids, but if you're able to get him here, he would be usable in raids. All right, checking his infinite here at 36 million damage, 132 range, 8 SPA, so about 4.6 million DPS. Not that good of a DPS, but this is what makes up for it here. This is on Meliodas' 7th upgrade. He gains an ability called Disintegration. This ability sets enemies to 45% of their health. It only affects enemies inside of his range. This does not lower their health if they're below 45. This ability doesn't stack with, I believe that is Masu. This ability also does not have a global cooldown. If this ability is used twice on the same enemies, Demon King does his damage to all enemies in this range, does not work on boss enemies. There you go. Very good support, and he has a fairly good range too, so it is a fairly good support. You could use him with Luffy. So I would put him probably somewhere in B. Put him right here, right below Jiren. Actually, no. Put him right there, since it is within his range. Even though he does have a fairly wide range, he doesn't do much damage. Actually, I want to move him up more. I'll move him here. Now I'm thinking about it, like right here. I'll put him right there. I was just sitting there thinking about it for half a second. I'm like, well, within his range, he has really slow cooldown. He has 8 of them. So, yes, he is pretty good. All right. And then for our last 7-star, is this our last 7-star? Oh, I'm missing one. Hold on. We'll finish this one up and I'll do that one. This is Naruto. Raid stats here. Sucks. 2.1 million damage, 108 range, 7 SPA, 313 DPS. Yeah, not usable at all. Never use him for anything basically. And then for infinite, 1.4 million, 7 million damage, 138 range, 10 SPA, 1 million damage, DPS. Has no ability. Yearly circle. Put him right here. Below Sasuke, because Sasuke is better, but yeah, not by a crazy amount. And then I'm gonna forgot to do him. Okay, I added him to the tier list now. So we can actually look at him. Unhuman nullified Osamu Dazai. So let's look at him. 1,500 on placement. Here we go. His race stats. 3,300,000 damage, 120 range, 6 SPA, 500,000 DPS, hybrid, and so he hits airs. Okay, he's a passive here. Human Nullifier can do 2 times damage to enemies that originally have a title. Can also do piercing damage to elemental enemies. Human Nullifier can still do 2 that got turns for regular enemies. So using an ability that turns them to regular enemies like Vegeta's ability is very good with him because he does 2 times damage to them. And then originally have a title. He does piercing damage to elementals, and it does 2 times damage to that had a title that was changed. Interesting. That's just for basically everything. So We're looking at Infinite now. He has 27 million damage, 120 range, 8 SPA, 3.4 million DPS, and then he gains his ability, which is Fall of Man. Upon activation of this ability, all enemies in the map alike powerful. There you go, except air mini boss and enemies turn to regular enemies. Additionally, air enemies in the map that are affected by the ability will be targeted by ground units. It's all interesting. So if you have, it makes basically all units hybrid. This ability has a cooldown of 400 seconds, so 6 minutes. Has a global cooldown of a bit longer, of around 8 minutes, or approximately 580 to 500 seconds. Interesting. Well, he does have this himself to make it that he can hit him. It is a little bit slow, but it is an interesting ability. I don't think he's that good, to be honest. I'll put him here. Yeah. Maybe Vegeta a bit higher? 11 million DPS? I'll put him there. Then yeah, alright. I like this list. I might change things around as I try new characters and play with some more. Especially these two. They haven't come out yet, so they should have a place somewhere on here. Don't know where to put them, so yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you agreed with it, or if you didn't, let me know what I messed up, or what you think I messed up, and what you think belongs where, and who's too low, too high, whatever you think. And hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.